Hello and welcome to another English lesson with me, Beth. Today we will be talking about the past continuous tense, when to use it and how to form it. There has been a robbery. Someone has stolen something. The police are questioning 3 men to find out where they were at 10:30 last night. I was sleeping. You can ask my wife. At 10:30 I was working in my restaurant. I was driving to visit my parents. Here you can see the past continuous forms. So we can see I was sleeping, I was working, and I was driving. We know it's continuous because you can see that ing ending on all of the verbs. We use the past continuous to talk about an action in the past that is not finished at the time we are talking about. So in this example, we are talking about 10:30 last night. At this time, John had started sleeping, but he had not finished sleeping. He was in the middle of sleeping. At 10:30, the action was not complete. So let's look at the difference between past simple and past continuous. For example, I started work at 6:05. This is in the past simple because it is a completed action. I finished work at 12:05. Again, this is a completed action, so it is in the past simple. But between those two times, between 6:05 and 12:05, I was working. This is in the past continuous because at these times and all the times in between, so 7:05, 8:05, 9:05, etc., I was working. The action was incomplete. So how do we form the past continuous? To form positive sentences, we use the subject plus was or were plus the verb and ing. So I, he, she, it was, we, you, they were, and then the verb and ing. Was and were here are the past forms of the auxiliary verb be. To form negative sentences, we simply add not. So we have the subject plus was not or were not plus the verb and ing. And remember, was not and were not can be contracted to form wasn't and weren't. So I, he, she, it wasn't, we, you, they weren't. To form questions, we start with the question word, if necessary, plus was or were, plus the subject, plus the verb and ing. So was I, he, she, it running, for example? Were we, you, they talking. And if a question word is needed, then it comes at the start. So, why was he running? When were they talking? Let's compare how we form past continuous and past simple. So here we have he was having his hair cut at 4:30 yesterday. You can see the subject plus was plus the verb and ing. And the past simple is he had his hair cut yesterday. She was reading that book earlier. She was reading subject plus was plus verb plus ing. And past simple, she read that book earlier. She was meditating in the park at 7:30 before work. She was meditating. It's an incomplete action at 7:30, so we use the past continuous, that ing ending. And the past simple, she meditated in the park before she went to work. So she meditated in the park is there a completed action, so we use past simple. Past continuous and past simple are often used together to say when something happened in the middle of something else happening. For example, I was running when I tripped and fell. The team was winning, but then the referee stopped the game because of bad weather. She wasn't looking at me, so I shouted to get her attention. Was she eating when you arrived? He asked her to marry him when they were working together. She was hanging the clothes out when it started raining. So if we highlight past continuous in orange and past simple in blue, I was running, past continuous, and then when I was running, in the middle of my run, I tripped and fell. Was she eating when you arrived? Was she eating, past continuous, and then past simple, you arrived. The team was winning, past continuous, and then while they were winning, the referee stopped the game. They were working together, and while they were working together, he asked her to marry him. She wasn't looking, past continuous, and while she wasn't looking, I shouted to get her attention. She was hanging the clothes out, and while she was doing that, it started raining. So, as we've just noticed, past continuous and past simple are often used together to say when something happened in the middle of something else. But if actions happen in sequence or one after the other, then we use past simple for all verbs. I ran, but then I tripped and fell. Did she eat when you arrived? The team won. The referee stopped the game early because of bad weather. They worked together, and then he asked her to marry him. She didn't look at me, so I shouted to get her attention. She hung the clothes out, then it started raining. These are now all in past simple because the actions are all in the past and happened in sequence, one after the other. So if we look at the final example, she hung the clothes out. When she had finished hanging the clothes out, it started raining. If you have watched my previous video about the present continuous, you will already know that there are some verbs which are not usually used in the continuous form. So just as a quick reminder, these verbs include like, want, need, prefer, believe, seem, understand, mean, suppose, realize, and know. So let's practice using the past continuous in some sentences. Use the information given with each picture to write a sentence in the past continuous. So for example, here we have a picture of Chris and Laura. So the subject of the sentence will be Chris and Laura. The time is 12:30 yesterday, and the action is walk together. So then I can write the sentence, yesterday at 12:30, Chris and Laura were walking together. I could also put the time of the action at the end of the sentence. So I could say, Chris and Laura were walking together yesterday at 12:30. Both of those options would be correct, and both are equally good. Now it's your turn. So here we have a picture of Tom. So the subject of the sentence is Tom. The time is Sunday at 1 o'clock, and the action is eat lunch with his children. Here we have Harry. The time is Friday at midnight, and the action is dance in the nightclub. And here is Judith. The time is Wednesday at 6 in the evening, and the action is swim in the lake. So pause the video now and see if you can write a sentence for each picture. Good job. Now let's look at my sentences and you can compare them with yours. So my first sentence, Tom was eating lunch with his children at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Your sentence might read, at 1 o'clock on Sunday, Tom was eating lunch with his children. That is also correct. As long as your verb is in the correct form, Tom was eating, then well done. On Friday at midnight, Harry was dancing in the nightclub. Again, that could also be Harry was dancing in the nightclub on Friday at midnight. Judith was swimming in the lake on Wednesday at 6 in the evening. Again, that could be on Wednesday at 6 in the evening, Judith was swimming in the lake. So the time can go at the beginning or the end of the sentence. So well done if you got all those sentences correct. Here is some more practice. You need to match the sentence beginnings to their endings so that they all make sense. There are 8 sentences. Here are your sentence starters. Number 1. The fire alarm rang while. Number 2. I bought some souvenirs while. Number 3. I was walking down the street and. Number 4. I was listening to music and Number 5. She broke her ankle while Number 6. He was sleeping when Number 7. I smelt something burning. And number 8. Daniel wasn't wearing a helmet when. So you need to finish those sentences by choosing from these endings. Pause the video now and choose the correct ending for each sentence starter. Good job! Now let's look at the answers together. So number 1, the fire alarm rang while the children were playing outside. Number 2, I bought some souvenirs while I was shopping in Italy. Number 3, I was walking down the street and I heard footsteps behind me. Number 4, I was listening to music and I didn't hear the phone ring. Number 5, she broke her ankle while skiing in Austria. Number 6, he was sleeping when I arrived. Number 7, I smelt something burning when she was cooking dinner. And number 8, Daniel wasn't wearing a helmet when he fell off his bike and hurt his head. Well done if you got all of those correct. Let's practice now choosing the correct form of the verb, past simple or past continuous. His tooth fell out or was falling out while he was playing or played in the playground. Which of those options are correct? Pause the video if you need to and choose the right answer. And here is the correct answer for you. His tooth fell out while he was playing in the playground. Here's another one. The fire was already burning or burned when the firefighters were arriving or arrived. And here is your answer. The fire was already burning when the firefighters arrived. So you can see the past continuous. The fire was already burning, and then while it was burning, the firefighters arrived. Another one. The bride was making or made a speech, but somebody was interrupting or interrupted. And here's your correct answer. The bride was making a speech, but somebody interrupted. So we have the past continuous. The bride was making a speech, and then the past simple, which happened in the middle of her speech. Somebody interrupted. While the dancers were bowing or bowed, suddenly all the lights were going or went out. While the dancers were bowing, suddenly all the lights went out. So the dancers were bowing, and then in the middle of that, the lights went out. One last one. She was taking or took photos when her battery was running or ran out. And here is your answer. She was taking photos, past continuous, and while she was doing that, her battery ran out, past simple. Well done if you got all of those sentences correct. So, I hope you feel more confident now using the past continuous. If you found this video useful, like and subscribe and tell your friends. Write in the comments what you found helpful and tell me what else you want to learn. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.